We talk about one of our games of the week this week. We go to Class 2A. It's a big showdown in the Bridger Valley. Always is. Doesn't matter how good or bad these teams are, and they are pretty good this year. It is Lyman and Mountain View, and I'm pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Lyman Eagles. That's Dale Anderson. And Dale, I know you guys have had some ups and downs, some twists and turns this season so far, but how do you feel about your team, and how would you kind of characterize what you're seeing out of them here midway through the season?
Well, it has been a little up and down. We've played some pretty good teams coming out of the gate. We're kind of battling through a few injuries also, which is just, it's part of the game. And so you kind of expect that's going to happen periodically. So, our kids have been, working hard and spending the time to prepare for each week. And, we really do try to take it 1 week at a time.
With the significant injury to Ashton, he's not playing for you. How have you had to adapt?
Well, a little bit. He's such a threat offensively, and we've had some younger kids step in and do some good things. But yeah, there's always that adaptation. Last year was pretty easy just to kind of let him run the show, and he had some experience doing it. So, the young kids that are stepping in, I think, are doing a good job, and it's just a matter of trying to keep things pretty simple so there's not a lot of thinking.
You guys come off a dogfight of a game and losing in overtime to Lovell. What'd you take away from your team's performance against who's number one in our poll right now?
Well, we knew going in that was going to be a tough game, and I was real proud of the way our kids battled. We're not the biggest team in the world, and we're not the fastest team in the world, and usually aren't. But I like to think our kids give a good effort most weeks, and that's something we try to build on each week. Is that give that effort and play hard and work hard and be smart and prep for the games, mentally and then physically just be tough.
So obviously I know you still have some guys off the state championship team, most notably probably now McCoy Smith. Is a lot of what you're doing kind of centered around him, or have you had some other surprises, good or bad, I guess?
We try not to focus too much on just one kid. We want to try to create a little balance. But yeah, McCoy's he's pretty good. We use him in a lot of different places. I think that's the thing. He's a pretty versatile kid. So, just trying to find the best ways to use him right now. It's a little bit of a challenge, but it's a good challenge because he's capable of doing a lot of things. So, but we try not to put too much on one kid. We talked about when Ashton went down, like, not one guy's got to replace him. Everybody's got to kind of step up and get a little better at what they do.
And with that surprise, have you had some good surprises or bad surprises, I guess?
Oh yeah. We've had kids do some good things, with our, we got Carter Bradshaw as a junior coming in as our quarterback, and, he's been a JV kid and played some receiver for us and stuff. But, it's different when it's, live bullets flying in a varsity game. No matter how much you try to prepare them for that, it's just different. So, he's done good. Braden Bradshaw is our tight end, returning kid that's a pretty good athlete and a pretty good pass catcher. And, I thought Gage Nelson had a good game the other day catching the ball against Lovell. So, we're trying to just create some balance where we don't have to just focus on one guy or one scheme. We can try to do a couple of different things to keep people off balance a little.
Well, now you get your big rival, Mountain View, just down the road. Not a lot separates you guys. So what do you look at when you see Coach Walk's squad this year?
Well, every year they're very well coached and their kids play hard. They kind of went through some injury issues last year, and I thought he did a phenomenal job considering what they went through last year. But now all those kids got a lot of extra experience. Those young kids were thrown into the fire. And so now they're kind of seasoned veterans. And so I think that shows with how they've started the season. He runs a great program down there, and their kids play hard. And like I said, the downside of last year with those injuries is those kids this year are ready to play.
So what does a game like this come down to? You talked about giving that consistent effort week in and week out. How do you keep your guys focused on it is a rivalry, but it's just a football game?
Well, you try not to build it up too much. It's hard not to, but once the ball's kicked, you hope they just play football, and their kids know our kids know their kids. And, there is that. And yeah, you just try not to get caught up too much in the emotion, and hopefully at some point it just settles into a really good football game.
What are some of the biggest things for you guys this week, you think, Dale?
Well, I think controlling the run game. Yeah, and that's kind of where it starts for us most weeks. You know, they're big up front. They got some athletic kids up front. Their running backs run hard. Yeah, so and then you flip that over in our run games, obviously, where we start and begin with our offense too. So I think that line of scrimmage for us is always the key.
It's like a broken record from last week. I think you could have made this speech if we talked before the level game, pretty much. So, hey,
well,
Dale,
yeah, we do what we do, and hopefully it works sometimes.
Dale, thank you so much for the time. As always, best luck against the Buffaloes on Friday.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
We continue the conversation with our small school game of the week. Our WyoPreps game of the week takes us to Class 2A, big showdown with third-ranked Lyman at fourth-ranked Mountain View, and visiting with Buffalo's head coach Brent, who a year ago was going through some trials and tribulation. It seems like that has kind of paid off here in 2022. Brent, I guess 3 games in for your squad. How would you kind of assess how things are going with the Buffaloes?
Things are going great for us, and honestly, David, coming into the season, coming off a losing season, that was our first losing season that we've had in 10 years. But, our kids were really grounded. My coaching staff's done a great job. And my big emphasis as far as where I was at is, we're not going to waste a failure. And ultimately last year was a failure for us. And I take 100, and I've told everybody this, I take 100% ownership on it. Some things happened that, were kind of out of our control. We fought injuries and everything. But at the end of the day, here in Mountain View, we're not here to, to make excuses. It is what it is, and we didn't get the job done. So, the focal point was to be the best football team we can be this year. And the kids have really responded, man. They're typical Mountain View kids, and we like to think we're pretty proud of what the kids and what this program stands for. So, I mean, they're playing Mountain View football, so I couldn't ask for anything more.
Well, you've had some good-sized wins. You've had some close wins, but what have you learned maybe the most about your team early on?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, our kids are fighters. And that's what, we've faced adversity, and we've far from played perfect football. I mean, we've made a lot of mistakes in all 3 of our games, but the kids they're fighters. They're not quitting, and they're digging in, and they're showing a lot of character, which, hopefully that continues, and that helps us throughout the season.
Good or bad, what type of surprises have you seen from your squad?
They've been mostly good surprises. Kind of, because we get after it in the off season, so we knew what we were coming in with. We had a great off season and stuff, but like I said, I don't know if there. Honestly, David, if I think about it, I don't know if there were a ton of surprises. We've got a sophomore quarterback that we knew had the potential. He had an amazing off season, and he has the potential. His ceiling is extremely high, and he's doing a great job running our system. And we got guys that have filled into positions that are doing an outstanding job for us so far.
It seems like Schultz, Braden, Branson, all these guys kind of leading the charge for you. What are you seeing out of your kind of top line guys right now?
Yeah, those guys are getting after it. And we talk about this all the time: practice like a champion, play like a champion, live like a champion. And if you ask any of my guys what's most important, is live like a champion. But practice like a champion. You just mentioned those guys, and they're getting after it. They're being great leaders on the field, off the field, and they're hungry. They're extremely hungry. All those guys played throughout the season last year, and then we ended up playing guys that were honestly JV guys last year. They should have been playing JV ball, but they got a lot of experience. They're extremely motivated. They've gotten the weight room. They've gotten bigger, faster, stronger. So, those guys are playing great, and everybody's playing extremely hard. But with that being said, too, the games that we've won, we've made a lot of mistakes, and we have to fix that. Coming into this week playing the Lyman Eagles, we're gonna have to play a lot better to beat this team.
Speaking of that, let's talk about it. It is rivalry week for you guys. The Valley's all a buzz as usual. How do you keep your guys, Brent, focused on just the game?
Yeah, we do, and we put a huge emphasis on that. Yeah, it's we talk about faces, opponents, and we're worried about Mountain View football. We always have, and that'll always be my philosophy. This is 11 years now. We worry about what we do, and if a team's going to beat us, they need to be a good team. That's our goal. A good team beats us, and they have to play good. So we talk about faces, opponents, but I'm not going to lie to you. It's special. It's a cool thing. It's a special, and we talked about this in our Monday meeting. It's a faces opponent, but it's a special faces opponent. We don't talk about we don't talk about this week any other week than this week. But then, when it's time to talk about it, it's time to talk about it. But my kids do an outstanding job of staying focused. We call it don't get caught up in stupid, because we're here to play football. And Lyman has great kids over there. We have great kids. This whole Bridger Valley is a tremendous community. So, I really feel as much as any year that I've coached that the kids are, they're concentrating on football, and the outside stuff, we just put it to the side, and, at 3:30 on Friday, we're hopefully coming to play.
What are your impressions of Coach Anderson's bunch this year?
Yeah, Coach Anderson, and I've said this now every single year, Coach Anderson does a great job. His staff does a great job. And he's got some very good football players, and he's had a ton of success, obviously, in the last 2 years, back-to-back state champion. I don't think that's happened since, I can't remember the year, but before it happened, I know it was Thermopolis. So it's been a long time, and they've got the kids they're winners over there. We know that. And we're getting right back to where we were at, so they've got some very, very good football players, obviously.
What are you kind of stressing and emphasizing in terms of some big keys to Friday afternoon's game for your team?
Yeah. Well, first of all, like I've already said, Dave, we need to play good Mountain View football. We need to focus on that and do the things that we do well. And then, obviously, we're focused on stopping their run. But with that being said, too, they got athletes that they can throw the ball. So defensively, our goal is going to be to, keep them in front of us, swarm to the football. And like I said, kind of bank on, although we're building a new tradition in 2022, but we want to bank on some of the stuff that we've done in the past. And then offensively, we still like to think we can, although we haven't yet, it exactly exploded in both phases of the game. I really like our run game. Jason's doing a great job, and our offensive line is doing a great job in the run game. But we need to get more comfortable in our passing attack to where we do have to pass, and then have the potential to score from anywhere on the field. That's our ultimate goal.
Brent, as always, pleasure to talk with you. I wish you the best luck Friday as you take on the Eagles.
All right, I appreciate it, buddy. Have a great day.